Hey y'all, Eric here. Just got out of a meeting a little while ago. Got me something to eat since the meeting ran long, and something to drink, and was watching the news and thought I'd just pull up my Facebook. And first, first thing in my news feed, y'all have no idea how angry I am. I am. A few weeks ago, an American citizen, and it's pertinent for me to say that an American citizen, part of our community, Renee Good, mother, an activist, poet, was murdered in front of a lot of people and on camera. And autopsies and films have shown it was unnecessary. Well, a new notice has come out, and I'm going to show it to you. Hold on, I need to switch camera. I need to switch screens. So this is what showed up on my Facebook feed. This happened yesterday. This guy right here. His name is. See, there are multiple posts on this. His name is Alex Preddy. He was protesting in Minneapolis yesterday because ICE was there, and they came back. That's where Renee Good was murdered. He was on the street with his camera, it's one of the picture shows, filming what ICE was doing. He is also, pertinent to the story, a legally licensed gun carrier. And he had his gun on him. His gun was holstered, it was not drawn. He had his camera in both hands filming, as I said. They arrested him. They stopped him, they detained him, they disarmed him, meaning not only did they take his gun, but they took his camera too. And then, this is what the film on the news have shown. They don't show the actual shooting. You see all the ICE agents around him, and then his body on the ground from his waist down, the upper body hidden by the ICE agents in a car. They shot him. Not once, multiple times. And you see multiple agents around him when they had him on the ground. And then all of a sudden, they all stand up. He wasn't shot long range, he was shot close range. And he died on the scene. He was a registered nurse by occupation. And I'm just going to read you a little this thing so you'll understand just how angry I am. I mean, because this is insane. It's insane. Breaking. You might hear my TV in the background because I have the news on and I didn't turn my speaker off. Um, but Alex was brutally murdered by ICE in Minneapolis today for no reason, and he has been identified as 37-year-old Minneapolis resident and American citizen Alex Jeffrey Preddy. Now that's something else to make note of. ICE is supposed to be running around getting the worst of the illegal immigrants, and even some of the ones who don't have crimes, because while it is a true story that if you come into this country illegally, you've already broken the law. But that doesn't mean that you are a rapist, a murderer, um, child killer, any of those things. No. This was an American citizen, just as Renee Good was an American citizen. Alex was a registered nurse with no criminal record and only a few parking tickets to his name. He was an athlete and an avid outdoorsman. He was a brother and a son. he worked for the VA, where he cared for veterans' health. He was an ICE observer who was legally filming the ICE agent's actions when he was stopped, detained, disarmed, and then shot several times by ICE agents. Alex had a legal permit to carry a firearm, and multiple videos of the killing clearly show that he did not draw his weapon or brandish it at ICE agents. Apparently, as Occupy Democrats have written this post said, Second Amendment rights only apply to Republicans. He was only filming when they approached him and was only holding his camera, as I said. ICE agents had taken his weapon from its holster before they shot him. He was being pinned down and brutally beaten by a mob of ICE agents, and by definition, a mob is the gathering of 3 or more people for an intentional purpose of causing harm. So that is an accurate description. By a mob of ICE agents when they shot him for no reason. It was murder, just as it was with Renee Good. Nothing else can be described. Not manslaughter, not self-defense, none of that. It was actual murder. And it's worth highlighting the fact that Preddy is a legal citizen and has an address listed in South Minneapolis. The Trump administration has flooded our streets with undertrained, overweight, bloodthirsty, masked enforcers under the pretext of rounding up violent, undocumented migrants. In practice, they're targeting and executing innocent Americans. Actually, I'll go a step further. They're targeting and executing anyone who is against this administration. And what does that sound like? An authoritarian regime under dictatorship. And who does that sound like? I'll give you 5 seconds to come up with your own answer, but I'll just name a few. Putin, the leader of Russia. His opposition died in captivity after multiple attempts for him and his wife to be murdered. Kim Jong-un of North Korea essentially murdered his family so that he could come into power. Did Trump go after any of those? Did the Trump administration go after any of those? Never mind the number of African countries where this happens on a monthly basis of regime changes. In Central and South America, is he going after those? No, he's not. His administration is committing domestic terrorism. And he's asking our military, giving them illegal orders to harm U.S. citizens. And I will say this version of ICE, which is supposed to be the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, they are not the police. I would go so far as to say they're not even law enforcement. They are bullies. And I've said this in other posts, in other videos that I put on YouTube. I've done this on posts on Facebook and Instagram. This version of ICE, they will take anybody who's 18 years or older. And guess who is among their ranks? And this has been verified. You can just simply Google it and it will come up. Enrique Torres, that name should be familiar to you. Enrique Torres participated in the January 6th insurrection. He is the leader, or was the leader, of the Proud Boys, which is a verified white supremacist group in this country. Never mind that Enrique Torres is of Hispanic origin. His name even denotes it, yet he was the leader of a white supremacist group. Anyway, he was arrested, tried, and convicted, serving a multi-year conviction for his part in the insurrection, and he was pardoned by Donald Trump. And after that, he started harassing other people, harassing journalists, harassing veterans, military veterans, harassing Capitol police officers. And now he is an ICE agent. Dean Cain, from back in the day of Superman and Lois, he is an ICE agent. There are Proud Boys, other Proud Boys, who are amongst their ranks. There are Oath Keepers, another white supremacist group in this country, who are members of ICE. Congresspeople have introduced articles of impeachment for Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem to be impeached. And multiple times, she has said it. Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, he has said it. Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, he has said it. Donald Trump, the President of the United States of America, all of them have said that ICE has done nothing except what was being asked of them. I call bullshit. Bullshit. They are murdering American citizens. Now, Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota, has directed state police to arrest ICE agents. Governor Newsom of California has a law on the books now that if ICE comes to California, they cannot be masked. Now, I don't know why ICE agents are masked. Something about harassment or whatever. Doesn't matter. Can our police officers wear masks? No, they can't. No, they can't. And everybody keeps calling ICE agents law enforcement. Well, if they're law enforcement, why do they have their masks on? Why do they have their masks on? And I've said many times that this version of ICE needs to be suspended or abolished. Because this isn't the ICE, and again, Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency. This is not the version of ICE that is part of the government. It's not. These are thugs with badges and power. Congress did not give them this power. They gave themselves this power based on an internal memo that's been reported by multiple news outlets and been vetted out to be the truth. You don't have to believe me, just Google it yourself. But this has to stop. This has to stop. I stand with the people of Minnesota. I stand with anyone who is against this administration, who is against ICE, and essentially anyone who wakes up every day and says, fuck Donald Trump, I stand with them. And the best way that we can get rid of them is through the 2026 midterm elections. And I'm not just talking about the federal elections. In my state, we have a federal election. We're electing a new senator. That seat that is open from Senator Tom Tillis, who is a Republican, is going to be flipped to a Democrat when Roy Cooper, our former governor and former attorney general, will win that seat. We have ridiculous people in positions that we have to elect, because I'm going to campaign against my current county commissioner. She needs to retire. She is ineffectual and does not need to be in that office anymore. Bill Malik, your time is over. Gary McFadden has been in the news so much of the way that he's running around in county government acting like a bully that he needs to go. Carla Cunningham, who is one of the state representatives who voted to allow ICE to come into North Carolina, who is actually against LGBT and trans rights, she needs to go. She needs to go. She was posturing and tried to have Gary McFadden, the current sheriff that I was just talking about, removed from office. And it was thrown out because it was filed illegally. She is a state representative, and you would think she would know the law, or at least get one of her attorney friends to look at it to understand that what she was about to do was illegal. But she was just posturing so that people would re-elect her. She needs to be primaried and booted out of office. She is derelict in her duties. I sent a complaint to her about her voting record, and what do? They just added me to their email list, and so from time to time, I get emails from Carla Cunningham. And she's not even my representative, though she is a representative that goes to the state legislature. So I say all this to say, educate yourself about your local, municipal, state, county, and federal elections. Educate yourself. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, but something was said in a meeting I was in, and it makes absolute good sense. Only vote for people who show up for you. And I can assure you, it ain't the Republicans. I've said this, and there are some Democrats. There is a North Carolina representative. His name is Don Davis. Don Davis was one of 7 Democrats to vote with all the Republicans to fund ICE, the current ICE agency as it is, to give them billions of dollars. Billions of dollars that could go to the Affordable Care Act subsidies so that people's premiums wouldn't go up 300% and 400%. They voted to give them money. Now they're going to say, well, we don't want the government to shut down. We didn't want the government to shut down again. Don Davis needs to be primaried. And the 6 other Democrats who voted to fund ICE, they also need to be primaried. It's time. They need to understand, we're not playing. We're not playing. They are killing people. That should tell you that they're not playing. We're not playing either. Get them out of office. The ultimate goal is to get the House of Representatives back under our control and the Senate back under our control. Because Mike Johnson, the current Speaker of the House, has said it. Donald Trump himself has said it. If the Democrats and the Independents take both of those houses in Congress back, essentially his administration is over. The MAGA regime is over. And this will be the only time that trickle-down processes will actually work, because then that will go through all the states. Probably not all 50, but then a majority of the states will understand what has been happening for the last 10 to 20 years. It needs to stop. And this is not just putting the Republicans on notice. I'm calling out Democrats too. And I'll just say it on this video. I was going to do a separate video, but Hakeem Jeffries, who, if the Democrats would have taken the House, he would have been Speaker of the House. I'm done with Hakeem Jeffries. The only thing that he does, he's a great orator, and he knows how to beat his chest in front of a camera, but he is ineffectual in Congress. He's not my representative. There's nothing I can do about this, but I'm calling on all New Yorkers to replace Hakeem Jeffries. These 7 Democrats that voted for funding of the ICE, Hakeem Jeffries could have whipped and campaigned in Congress against that and compelled them not to vote the way that they did. But he decided they weren't going to do that. He decided they weren't going to do it. So yes, Hakeem Jeffries needs to go. Needs to go. I wish Jasmine Crockett was running for re-election again in Congress. But her district has been redrawn in Texas, so that's why she's running for Senate. She may not win. She may not win. But we needed that seat. We needed her seat. North Carolina has done the same thing to give them more power in Congress, to help Trump. But it may backfire on them. It may backfire on them. I just need everybody within the sound of my voice to understand this. Let them tell them to stop playing, because you're not playing. Whether your issue is the economy, whether it's the murder of American citizens, whether it's insurance, your health care, your retirement, finding a job, being able to afford putting a roof over your house, whatever it is, they're not doing it. And I'll make it as plain as I can. If they are aligned with the Trump administration or the MAGA movement, they don't give a fat happy rat's ass about your well-being. They don't. They don't. And some of these Democrats who are 70 and 80 years old, who have been in this job for a number of years, that we just let sit there because as long as the issue's not in our backyard, we're good. No more. No more. Because it's just not about you. It's not about you. Because eventually, if it happens to me, trust and believe me when I say this, it will eventually come to you. So I'm asking you, this has to stop. This has to stop. Make sure your voter registration is up to date. Make sure you know where to go vote. And make sure that you're educated on who you're going to vote for. And I'll say it again, you should only be voting for people who show up for you. Thank you. Hashtag midterm elections. Hashtag elections have consequences. These murders are the result and the consequences of the presidential election of 2024. But the people of Minnesota, the people of New York, the people of California, the people of North Carolina, the people of Missouri, all of them are showing that resistance is not futile. Remember that. Remember that. All is not lost. And this is our best chance. If we don't do what we know to do that is right, more American citizens are going to be murdered in our streets. Think about that. And I'll see you on the next video.